Talk about today, one thing I wanted to mention was this feeling that we're in two worlds. The last little while, I've realized that I have a really hard time living in what we call the real world, this material world where everybody thinks that there's some cartoon virus out to get them, and this need to comply to ridiculous rules that don't make any sense. And people seem to know that it doesn't make any sense, but don't seem to think beyond that. So even just being in that world is difficult. Of course, the plane flies over while I'm talking. So I've been having a struggle with that, and I'm sure a lot of you have been struggling with that too, and how to reconcile that. Basically, what I've been doing is detaching myself as much as possible from that world. But even just being in the company of people who think that this is real is difficult. And, family members, friends, that sort of thing is getting increasingly difficult. So the best solution that I have at the moment, and as it evolves, if I come up with new ideas, I'll let you know, but the best solution I have at the moment is to detach as much as possible, to focus on your energy, getting your energy up, and just trying your best to avoid these situations if it affects you. If it doesn't affect you, and basically you want to get your frequency up so it doesn't affect you. If going to a store and fighting with a manager is fine for you, it does lower your vibration, and you do get pulled into that, and sometimes you can't avoid it. But for some of us, we need this experience, and we can't say for one another what is the right choice or what the right path. Each of us have different tolerance levels, different lifestyles, different restrictions, different needs, and we need to be understanding of one another and where we're at in this situation. Some people have to go to work, have to deal with these restrictions, and have to find a way to manage it. And in some instances, it might be possible for you to speak to your boss or whoever, and they might be reasonable. In other cases, they may not be reasonable. And what I'm finding through this experience, and every experience is necessary in unfolding the path for us. Even it's not going to be a straight line. There's going to be times where you loop back and then you stumble, or you get upset about something that you didn't think that you'd get upset about. And these sorts of things are bound to happen because we've never been through something like this before. And I just try to find some kind of understanding or new knowledge in the experience, and in that way tried to make it into a positive thing for me. So the experience that I had at the garage, I found to be a traumatic experience, and for some people it may be no big deal at all. For others, it might have been an even more traumatic experience. Some people suffer from PTSD. Some people suffer from anxiety. There's all sorts of things that people are dealing with, that these people who are petty mini controllers have no idea what anyone is dealing with. No idea why someone can't wear a mask. Maybe somebody was kidnapped and gagged for 7 years. You don't know. So that experience for me was traumatic. To be put in a position where I was forced to go against what I wanted to do, forced to go and be treated like a dog, basically, it disturbed me. It isn't about the mask. It is about the restriction. It is about the imposing on our will. It is about this being a stepping stone for other things they're going to impose on us. And so each stage or each absurd restriction that they put on us is just another level of torture that we have to find our way around, and it's exhausting. I'm tired of dealing with it, but I have no choice. I have to deal with it. I have to find either a way around it or find a way to detach myself from it, because I'm not going to comply. And even the idea of complying to some extent and say, you know, wearing a mask that says COVID is fake or whatever, at least there's something in that. And some people have said, wear a mask, and if you can't breathe, cut holes out for your nose and your mouth. Well, what's the point of wearing the mask then? That doesn't make sense. And it just proves to you that people aren't thinking. People aren't understanding. They're not getting it. So there's that part of it. And in the process of encountering these people, in the process of going through these experiences, I learn more about the beast system. And it's one thing to understand the beast and the mind of the beast. It's another thing to understand the mind of the individual who complies with the beast. And that's what I'm learning about now. I'm learning how easy it is to manipulate these people and get them to comply and turn into a Nazi without them even realizing what's happened, without them realizing that that's what they're doing. They don't even realize that they're going against humanity, that their behavior is inhumane, that their treatment of people is inhumane. They don't know. And even if you show it to them, they don't know. They don't agree with you. They have to reconcile it in their mind because they can't possibly be inhumane. So they have to reject what you say. They can't see it. So these people, what confounds me about the owner of the garage I went to, and these are people I've been to for over a year and a half now, dealing with repairs and maintenance to my car. They know who I am. I was there 2 days before the incident that happened. So they know who I am. And the fact that I spoke to them and they seemed rational 2 days before, and then have them turn around and become Nazi-like within a span of 2 days is shocking to me. Understanding how quickly this system causes these people, it's like there's a switch in them that just switches off. Like the humanity switch. Like in vampires have a humanity switch. It's like the humanity switch has switched off. And these people have just easily complied and convinced themselves that this is the right thing to do. And then all of a sudden they look at you like you're the enemy. You're the British, they're the Nazi Germans. And if you don't go with them, you're against them. That was shocking to me. To see that, not just in those people at the garage, but in the people, in my friend. And so the letter that I wrote to the owner of the garage, in explaining to them that their policy is inhumane, and drawing upon the content of the letter with which they're complying, and saying there are exemptions and you're ignoring them, they, again, ignored the exemptions. It was as if I hadn't even pointed it out to them. I mean, they completely ignored my letter. Same as with the other people I wrote to, the chair of the region, and the assistant to the medical professional who even wrote the letter. She ignored my letter. They just totally ignore it. That is confounding to me and shocking to me. We're not dealing with regular people here. And it's like, it's like you think that the elite, the controllers, the people who are in power are the only ones involved in this thing, and they're not. And this is really proving that. It is proving that these people that we have to deal with on the front line have switched off their humanity and complied with the Nazi rulers and said, you cannot pass here. This is the rule. And they are being militant about it. They're calling the police over it. They're hounding people, harassing people, yelling at people, bullying people. I've heard stories of people being followed around the store by employees, harassing people to wear a mask. This is not how you treat people. But you try and talk to these people. You try and reason with them, and they don't hear you. It's like some kind of programming has been turned on in them to say, this is how you think now. And some time ago, back when we were locked down, someone said that the reason that we're getting locked down is so that they will sit us in front of the TV and some event will happen. Well, this is the event. The event is the brainwashing. The event is the mind control. The event is ongoing. It's not just one thing. It's not like we're just sitting here waiting for some alien invasion, which is the coronavirus. That is the alien invasion. But we're not just sitting here waiting for some one day, one time, one moment event. This is the event. And these people, they're using the media, bombarding people on all levels to brainwash them into believing that this fake cartoon virus is real. And so they have to comply. And if you do not comply, you're endangering humanity. You're a danger to humanity. So the language that they use is the language that's being programmed in their brains. Yet the logic isn't there. They just do as they're told. They don't think at all. Because if the logic was there, then they would see that the mask wearing policy makes no sense. They would also see that there are exemptions and be reasonable about it, but they're not being reasonable about it. So, the whole idea of these people thinking that the mask is going to protect them inside a grocery store, but they don't have to wear it outside. As soon as they exit the store, they take it off. As soon as they go in the store, they put it on. They go into a restaurant, you have to wear it from the door to the table, but you can take it off when you sit at the table. But if you get up from the table, you have to wear it to the bathroom, to wherever. But at the table, you don't have to wear it. So somehow this magical virus doesn't harm them while they're sitting at the table eating. Doesn't harm them once they walk outside the building. It's only inside the building that they have to wear it. So why are you wearing it? Are you wearing it because you feel you have to comply with orders? Are you wearing it because you're afraid of being sued or fined? Are you wearing it because you just want to help people and yet you won't wear it outside? You won't wear it anywhere else? And then there's those people who wear it everywhere. They wear it in their car by themselves. Are you wearing it at home around your loved ones? Are you wearing it in the shower? Are you wearing it all the time? Are you wearing it when you sleep? So, I mean, it's just ridiculous. There's no logic behind the mask wearing. And the fact that I presented to this person, the owner of this garage, and I showed them the letter that you are adhering to, which is not law, it's a list of instructions. The very same letter that you are adhering to because you are afraid of getting fined by what it states in an order from an act. You are afraid of getting fined, so you adhere to these instructions, but you only pick and choose which instructions to adhere to. The other portion of the instructions is that there are exemptions and you are ignoring those. You are ignoring half of the instructions that you think you have to comply to because you think it's a bylaw. This is just confounding to me. It's like they can't see it. It's like a blind spot. And same with all these other people, when you present it to them, they don't see it. The whole mind control operation of telling people that if you don't wear a mask, you're killing people, has somehow overridden everything else. And yet they still don't wear the mask all the time. Not that I'm encouraging anyone to. I don't think you should wear it at all. Same with all, like the World Health Organization clearly states that healthy people should not wear a mask, that it leads to infection and illness. And it clearly states you should not be wearing anything other than a medical mask. Like, how is a non-medical mask going to help you? But you should only reserve that for medical professionals. And medical professionals only wear it when they're coming in contact with other people who are patients, and that's temporary, and then they dispose of it, and then they put on a new one. And otherwise, they walk around the hospital without wearing one, and they are in a sterilized environment. We are walking around in regular environment, wearing the same mask all day long. It's ludicrous. So something is a trigger for these people. Something has switched off their humanity. But also, we're now dealing with this idea that we're living in two worlds. And as much as I can, I am going to be living in the world that I feel most comfortable in. So protecting myself and getting my energy up and getting my frequency right, so that if and when I have to contend with the other world, the world I no longer feel a part of, I'm protected. And somehow I have to get to the place where I feel that I can walk through fire. I feel I can walk on water, because none of this affects me. And I'm not there yet, and that's fine. I mean, some days I go out and I am fine. I don't deal with any of it. But other days I go out, maybe it's an attack, maybe it's a spiritual attack, maybe it's a lesson I need to learn, maybe it's a message I need to receive. Whatever it is, I have to accept that as part of my process. It isn't going to be a simple thing of, oh, this doesn't affect me. Maybe for some people it doesn't affect them. I don't know what they're doing. They haven't shared that information. But for some people, it does affect them. And it affects some people a lot worse than others. And so what I want to be able to do is try to help people as much as I can with providing people with tools to deal with it. If certain people have, documentation, what have you, whatever you need to be able to get through this, whatever you need to arm yourself with the knowledge and the preparation in order to get through this. We just have to deal with it somehow. Whatever you need to do is what you need to do. Some people want to fight it. Some people don't want to fight it. Some people don't need to fight it. Everybody's different.